What's going on, everybody? So I want to preface this video and note that since recording and working on it, the Cavs went on to beat the Celtics in their preseason matchup. I never read too much into the preseason, but this particular game was interesting from the perspective of both teams. So in addition to this video, I'll also be breaking down that game very soon. So this entry is part 1 in a 3-part series. We're going to attempt to get clues about the state of the psyche of the collective Cavaliers roster. Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? It's your favorite coach's favorite coach. I was recently watching The Jump with Captain Jack, and they were talking about the state of the Cleveland Cavaliers this season, post LeBron James. They were going into depth about a Tristan Thompson interview where Tristan essentially said that they're the 4-time reigning Eastern Conference champions, and that teams like Boston, Toronto, and Philadelphia would have to get through them. What was apparent to me was that a lot of people really do have this belief that LeBron James was surrounded by a horrible roster last season, that he carried his team to the finals. And that's simply not true. While this roster isn't perfect, there's definitely enough here to work with. And it just got me thinking about mindset and what type of mindset you should have during adversity and when you make big personnel changes or coaching changes and things like that, and the attitude that the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to have to be successful next year. Let's take a look.
J.R. Smith said everything they needed to say, and he spoke for our organization. I don't know why they went to Tristan and asked him that type of question.
Why do they even need to go to J.R. Smith? Is he like now the oracle and mouthpiece of the entire organization?
I want some answers that
J.R. Smith
might not have right now. You think when bad shit happens to me, I'll be in the crib like, oh my God, this is terrible. Could somebody please find
J.R. Smith.
get hold of this motherfucker so I can make sense of all this.
J.R. said it clean. Whoever's in the locker room, whoever's not in the locker room, we got the guy, 15 guys here. We prepare for a season, we prepare for a playoffs, and we fight for each other. We ride that way. What he's saying, the face he made after he answered the question was the face of, I know I'm lying. I know we're not going to do none of this, but I got to say it. Tristan, no, bro, we know that every team you said is going to beat you this year, okay? I'm sorry. Okay, so just try to answer the question a different way. You're not on the show, Kardashian show, so just answer the question the correct way and not just say stuff. Call on me. We got to say, gotcha.
Back in the class.
Does he know LeBron ain't there anymore? I don't think he knows. He might not.
The LeBron James system is real, guys. It's clearly obvious. The roster that the Cleveland Cavaliers has, they have talent on that team. That's a good, solid team. Losing LeBron James is going to keep him out of the elite. However, the absence of the LeBron James system allows some of these players to play their style again. Guys like Kevin Love, Kyle Korver, Colin Sexton looks like a great rookie. This isn't a bad roster, and there's going to be a lot more freedom, a lot more ball movement, and a lot more ability to involve some of these players. There are guys on this team who were just garbage playing in the LeBron system, like George Hill, Jordan Clarkson, guys like that. They'll have their chance to develop now that he's gone.
Go back and log on LeBron. I told him. Hey, LeBron, where are you? Through that door.
This is tough, okay, because first of all, I'm just gonna kind of, look, we do want players to be confident. We don't want them to like go kick rocks and say, yeah, I guess we're kind of screwed this year, right? So there's that. And also, I am one of the people, and I know I'm in the minority, who is okay with the Cavaliers trying to win this year. I know.
Good for you. I'm glad that you're okay with the Cavaliers trying to win this year. Any professional athletic team should do their best to try to win every single year. I just don't understand this narrative that now that LeBron is gone, the Cavaliers are going to suck. I think their roster is fine, and they're a few adjustments away from being a good team. Top 5 in the East. And the East is completely wide open. The Cavaliers have a chance to make a deep playoff run and surprise a lot of people. But based just off the stuff I've heard from the media and from the roster and Tyronn Lue, it doesn't seem like they actually believe they can be a team that can compete. Other than the Tristan Thompson interview that I'm going to break down his body language and tell whether or not he's genuine or not. Other than that, most of the guys seem like they're getting prepared to lose. And I don't think that's the right attitude to have. I don't think they should tank. I would take the Dan Gilbert approach when LeBron left the first time and guarantee that they're going to win a championship before LeBron. That didn't work, but you know what? I'd rather have that attitude. If you think you're gonna lose, you're gonna lose. That's for you young players out there. That's just the way it is. If you think you're gonna lose, you will lose. I can't think of a situation where a team thought they were gonna lose and just accidentally won. If you think you're gonna win and you set high expectations for yourself, you'll be surprised of what you can accomplish. This roster is not bad. There's some good players on it.
People, and by win, I mean win games, not win a title.
So it's Sacramento.
Right, but no. There was a lot of people
She's saying,
who
like,
thought...
organizationally,
yes,
they're not tanking.
organizationally,
They're not
right.
tanking.
So there was a lot of people who came out after LeBron left and said, you got to tank, you got to trade Kevin Love, use this as an opportunity to keep the draft pick that you traded to Atlanta that's protected top 10, so if you finish below, if you're drafting the first top 10, you can keep it. Use this opportunity to build your team, and it's a quicker rebuild. And I'm actually okay with Cleveland's decision to say, you know what, we could be rebuilding for the next 4 decades. Let's actually try to win some games with this team and make the playoffs. I know, but that's what I'm saying, is that I'm okay with them making this run and trying to make the playoffs. I don't believe that tanking is the only strategy for a team that...
Trust the process. Coming from a guy who really, really bought into, I forget the guy's name, Sam Hinkie, where the Philadelphia 76ers basically tanked to collect assets and #1 draft picks. That was a good strategy. I don't care what your strategy is as long as you're 100% bought into it. Again, if you want to win, you have to go all in and have zero doubts. Things just cannot work if everyone has their own agenda and idea of what they want to do. It's just too conflicting. The Cavaliers are not in the situation where they need to tank, especially in the Eastern Conference, especially now that they have a fresh start. But based on things I've heard from their camp, it doesn't seem like they believe in themselves. I heard a recent interview from Media Day of Tyronn Lue saying that it's not win or lose, it's wins and lessons. And when I heard that, I basically knew what Tyronn was trying to say. He was attempting to control the frame in that situation, controlling the expectations for the fan base, for the team. There's going to be a lot of rough nights potentially this year. He wants to put a positive spin on the process of rebuilding. I wouldn't want that out of my coach. If you say stuff like that, you're essentially telling your team that they're going to lose and just be expected to handle defeat the right way. So essentially what I'm saying is this is a do or die situation for Cleveland. And if they commit and go all in and believe they can be a contender, I think they can. They might be able to make a good move around trade deadline. And who knows, they could find themselves in a deep playoff run.
Is a big star. There is a difference, though, between that and, hey, everything still goes through us.
You don't know if they're tanking or not when he on the court. You can't really tell.
But Stat, real talk. First round against Indiana, he was a DMP for the first 6 games.
Yeah, we gonna
you can talk about we gonna win. You gotta go through us.
JR answered it
barely
right.
playing.
JR answered it right. Tristan, stop it, bro.
It's going to be, look.
I mean, who else are they going to talk to? Tristan Thompson has been on the team for all the Eastern Conference titles. He's had some big games for them, and he's hung up a banner. But it's very easy to pick on him, and some of his off-the-court issues are scandalous and indefensible. He does a lot of stupid things. But seeing as how we're turning our focus to him, on my next video, I'm going to do a breakdown on the body language and vocal tonality of the Tristan Thompson interview that these guys are referencing. It was that very interview that showed me a lot about the state of the Cleveland Cavaliers this season, and the expectations and everything like that. The moral of the story for this video is not whether or not Cleveland's going to win a championship this year, or whether or not they're better without LeBron James. I think this season, and particularly prior to trade deadline, is going to answer a lot of questions about the LeBron James system. I believe if these players believe in themselves, they will be able to perform better. They'll be able to play like their old selves. George Hill is a great player. Larry Nance looks like a good player. Kevin Love was a perennial all-star. And there's a handful of other guys on this roster that could be assets now that the burden of playing in the LeBron system is lifted. Anyways, we'll see you guys on the next one. If you liked, please subscribe and share. And let me know what you guys think in the comments.